You were credited with creating the greatest show on turf, which, by the way, love the nickname. Shout out Chris Berman for the nickname. In the late 90s with the St. Louis Rams. During that time in football, like what trends did you notice in the game that made you kind of go outside of the box and go pass happy like the offense you ran was?
You know, when I came into the league in 92, 93, there was a kind of a boxed offense and defense that you just did, and everybody was kind of the same. And it was a little different than college. I just come over from the Pac-10. And then it's about that time they started all those zone dogs throughout the league. And the move at that time was to bring them all in and block them all. And we just did the opposite. We spread them all out and threw to hot receivers. And if you can cover them, by the time we get the ball snapped, we're going to move and shift. And if you can get lined up right and cover them, God bless you. But we don't think you can. So that's kind of what we did. And we just tried to open it up instead of squeeze it down. We just went the other direction with it. And it obviously could have not worked at all. But with the talent that we had, I'm not sure it mattered what we did with the guys that we had.
How important was it for you to have your coach Dick Vermeil's approval when you wanted to implement this scheme and when you eventually did? Like, how important was his backing to the whole process?
Dick was incredible, incredibly trusting. I'm not sure I could do what he did. He let go completely as part of the agreement because I was in a good shape, a good position there at the Redskins, and to take that job, I said, "Look, there's a that I'd like to expand on that we started here, you know, with Norv Turner, with opening things up, the moving, the shifting, and we were just starting into that, and I'd like to carry that further at the Rams. And here's the offense, and here's what I'd like to do. And for the most part, it was very similar to what he'd been doing. And he was all for it. He's very supportive. There was never a moment where he was not supportive, even when things weren't going real good. I remember our first game against Atlanta. They had just been in the Super Bowl. This is like our second game of the season in '99, and we're on about the 35 or 30 going in, and it's 3rd and 4. And he said, "Look, Mike, you know, we just need to get a field goal out of this." And of course, we were thrown at the end zone, and I said, "You know, Dick, we're going to throw a touchdown." And of course, fortunately, we threw a touchdown. And
the Rams today 6 of 6 on 3rd down. Warner, good protection, fires downfield, Holt in the end zone, touchdown!
I said at the beginning of the game, this young rookie wide receiver was explosive. Well, here he goes, folks. It's pure speed. He races straight downfield, and as you said, Kenny, Kurt Warner has plenty of time to deliver a beautiful pass.
He said, "You just fine, just do what you got to do." And it was really, really cool that way. He just let us go.
The scheme itself, it relies heavily, the greatest show on turf offense, on early down passing. And at the time, I'm sure the league was 1st and 2nd down run, 3rd down pass. At the time, like, did you encounter any resistance from the players' side, or did you just have them all buy into, look, we're gonna do something really transformative in the league?
You know, no, they bought in right away. And I'll tell you why. In practice against our defense, and our defense was a top 10 defense in the league the year before, even though they'd won only 2 or 3 games. The offense was almost a scout team for them. So we went out in the first weeks of practice and just lit them up pretty good. And that kind of success immediately, we were doing things that they hadn't seen done before, and they were having fun with it. And once that transpired, then we had their trust, and that was terrific, because every week we were doing different things, experimenting, trying things with different players. You know, if we're going to play the Giants, and Ricky Proehl's going to have 5 or 6, 7, 8 catches. You know, he's from New Jersey. Come on. You know, those are the kinds of things we tried to do for the players, and they knew that. Each guy, we went into every game plan with a little section of go-to stuff for each guy, and we tried to spread around as much as we could. And, you know, there may be – I remember Akeem against Cincinnati, I think the 3rd game, he scored, I think, 4 or 5 touchdowns. And then maybe next week he didn't catch, but maybe 2 or 3 passes. That's just kind of what made us tick and what made us hard to play against, I think.
Now, what all had to go right from a personnel standpoint to get that, to assemble that group of talent? Because we're talking about Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. Like, what all had to happen for those guys to come together at that time?
Well, you got to have the quarterback position, and we were looking for the quarterback and the running back. We didn't have either one of those when I was there, and we needed somebody on the other side of Isaac. And Azakim was there, Ricky Pro was there, and of course Isaac was there. But we needed the other guy on the other side that we felt like was going to be a 1 or a 2, and so we drafted Torrey Holt. And I was sitting at my desk, and Dick came down and said, "Hey, what would you think if we get Marshall Falk?" And I said, "That's not very funny, Dick. Come on." And he said, No, I think we can do this. I said, "Well, if you can do that, then that's everything." And then from that point on, we had to work out the quarterback, and we got Trent Green, who in preseason had a phenomenal preseason. I think he only had like 4 incompletions and was just going great guns. And it was so cool having him there because he was with me at Redskins. And so putting it in, he was kind of a mouthpiece in the huddle as well, so that when we would put a play and he would say, "Now remember, you got to be at 4 yards in this thing," those kinds of things. And so that helped tremendously. Of course, when he went down, then Kurt was there, and we'd put a lot of pressure on Kurt in the preseason. I was really hard on him, but he responded obviously very well.